I remember when I first got started, I did a course for about $2,500 with a company called AWAI. And I thought, okay, I'm going to be a copywriter now. And I learned some basic stuff. I learned features. I learned benefits. And I just thought, okay, now I know some stuff. Was I wrong about how much I knew after spending $2,500? It just felt like a never ending series of buying new courses. How much better do you think you would feel? And how much more confident do you think you would be to charge thousands of dollars if you could just literally say yes to any project because you can see the project, you're like, all right, I'll figure it out. I know exactly what I need to do. That is what I want to give you guys today. Basically, I've made close to $3 million in personal income, and that's mostly from copywriting. Like pretty much all I do every day is write copy. And I'll be breaking down the most important mental models that you cannot delegate. This is the stuff that AI is not going to be able to help you with so much, but it's the stuff that's going to make all the difference. It's not about the words. It's about the idea behind the words. It's the idea that's interesting. It's not the words that are interesting. The words just represent the idea. So getting attention is about generating interesting ideas. That's fundamentally your job. Most of the time, your job is to sell the thing that sells the thing. You should write that down. Most markets, your job is to sell the thing that sells the thing. It's never really about the thing. And most copywriters never get that. Buying something is about emotion. Paying for something is about resource allocation. You can learn secret after secret, opportunity after opportunity. But until you master the fundamentals, you add zero value to the market.
So you know that scene in The Matrix when Neo finally becomes the one and he's able to see the code of the Matrix? Well, that analogy applies to every field of human endeavor, even copywriting. So my business partner and I are doing a 5-day workshop to help you do exactly that. See the matrix of copywriting. The workshop is called Copywriting Fundamentals. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Nabeel Azeez. I am the co-owner of Copywriting Launchpad, which is a school community for copywriters. And my business partner is Matthew Volkwyn. And between the two of us, close to 100 copywriters have hit 6 figures in annual income. Now, the recording that I'm about to show you is half of day 1 of the Copywriting Fundamentals Workshop. If you would like to get access to the full recording and days 2 through 5 of the full workshop, then all you have to do is join Copywriting Launchpad, and it's $50 a month to join and get access to the last 4 days of the workshop, plus the recordings.
The next few days is going to be really fun. I've been thinking about putting something together for newer copywriters, because I remember when I first got started, I did a course for about $2,500 with a company called AWAI. And I thought, okay, I'm going to be a copywriter now. And I learned some basic stuff. I learned features. I learned benefits. Maybe you guys are familiar with these kinds of basics. And I just thought, okay, now I know some stuff. And was I wrong? Was I wrong about how much I knew after spending $2,500? It just felt like a never ending series of buying new courses and learning new information. And you're always going to do that in your career. You're always going to make more money, and you're always going to continue to reinvest in yourself. I think that's just going to be a natural part of the game. But one of the things I think is very important for newer copywriters, creative strategists, and just anybody in general who's writing copy is having the tools to figure out any project that you need to figure out, even if you don't have a course. Figuring out any type of industry. How much better do you think you would feel, and how much more confident do you think you would be to charge thousands of dollars if you could just literally say yes to any project because you can see the project, you're like, all right, I'll figure it out. I know exactly what I need to do to figure out how to do this. I don't have to worry about getting necessarily investing in coaching. I don't have to worry about watching YouTube videos. I don't have to read a book on it. I'm going to just figure it out. And once you start figuring it out, you can maybe get some coaching or whatever, but you feel the confidence. That is what I want to give you guys today. I want to give you the fundamentals, the foundation of what good copy, basically the secret stuff that got me successful when I didn't have information. Because a lot of the stuff I did in the beginning, I didn't actually have a course on it. So anyway, that's just a little quick summary of what we're going to be covering, and I'll be showing my screen in a moment. Let's make this very, very straightforward. There's only 2 things I really want to share with you today. Today, I want to share with you the fundamentals about how to think about copywriting. Like, what are you looking for? Like, what is copywriting fundamentally doing, like when you write it? And how do you go about writing copy? How do you go about approaching any sort of client account that you're working on or any sort of project? There's three types of copy. I'm going to be sharing those with you first. And then I'm going to show you, once you know these three types of copy, I'm going to be breaking down how to break down copy. So you're going to learn how to break down. I'm going to break down how to break down. So it's going to be just these two things. But once you have these two things, whenever you go into any business, whenever you go into any project, you'll be able to reverse engineer everything you need. That'll give you the initial momentum. And then from there, you can buy yourself enough time to learn whatever you need, because the industry that we're in today requires you to figure out a lot of stuff on the fly. How many of you have had to just say yes to a project before you quite knew how to do it? And then you just figured it out and you're a little bit nervous about it, but like, all right, I'll figure it out. I gotta get going. I can't know everything unless I start. All right. Every single time is basically the way it is. Until you've got experience, until you're making quite a lot of money, the nature of the game is you have to figure it out as you do it. And that's the hardest part, I think, about our industry for the beginner, is like you're trying to figure out stuff at the same time as make money, at the same time as it's just a lot of overwhelm. Okay, so let's talk about these three skills. There are three types of copy. And just a little bit about me, if you don't know who I am. I don't want to take up too much time with this intro, but basically I've made close to $3 million in personal income. And that's mostly from copywriting. Like pretty much all I do every day is write copy, and made $3 million almost. Probably by the time that this is a recording, it'll be 3 million. It's pretty close. It's a couple $100,000 away. And I'll be breaking down the most important mental models that you cannot delegate. In this training, we're going to be covering that as well. So this is the stuff that AI is not going to be able to help you with so much, but it's the stuff that's going to make all the difference. And this might be the most important thing that you actually ever go through. I'm going to try my best to explain it to you in a very, very simple way, because I have tried to explain this a few times, and obviously it is a bit of an advanced concept, so it goes over a few people's heads. But if you don't get anything anywhere in the training, just put in the chat, ask me a question and be like, hey, Matt, what do you mean by blank? What do you mean by blank? Let's make this very interactive. I don't want this to be some sort of like very fancy, like heavy sort of training. It's just like me just sharing with you here, like what happened, how I got to where I did, and the main stuff that worked for me, and just make it a dialogue. Okay. That's my preferred style of coaching anyway. But yeah, so there's three types of copy. You have the hook, right? We could talk about the hook. I'll just give you this as the starting point. So number one is the hook. Number two is the body, all right? And number three is the close. I think everybody's familiar with this part, right? So let's go deeper into this. Let's see, what is it that we're actually doing here, and why does every single piece of copy like fundamentally have these three things? And like, how do I actually approach each of these? So for me, the hook is about getting through the noise, right? It's like grabbing attention from the right person that's going to buy something from you. So a lot of people think the hook is about just getting any attention, or about hooking people in. And when we think about virality, yeah, that's obviously important to get impressions. But when you want to sell something, you want to talk to the right person. It's very important. So a lot of people forget this, especially nowadays with creative strategy. You'll see that there's actually a lot of hooks that aren't very good hooks. They're not that good in theory, but they talk to the right person. And so that's what you want to optimize for. Before you worry about, how do I say this in a compelling way? Oh my goodness, I can't believe this happened to so-and-so. Like, that's not a very relevant hook. You want your hook to be relevant, okay? You want it to be relevant. You want it to be beneficial, all right? I want it to be beneficial. And you want it to have curiosity. Now, when I think about curiosity and when I think about something beneficial, to me, benefits are emotional appeal, right? So it's emotionally interesting. And from an intellectual standpoint, it's also intellectually stimulating, all right? That's really the fundamentals of a good hook. Is it's emotionally interesting because it's relevant. They want that, right? And it's intellectually stimulating, and curiosity is something that you haven't necessarily seen it exactly like that before. All right. So these are very important. Now, if we were to try and make this training, like copywriting fundamentals, we want to try and make this training a little bit more sexy. We could. But part of the reason I did it this way is because you can see, like, you're on the call, and I didn't make this a very fancy headline. I didn't make this a very fancy, like, the ultimate secret to becoming a successful copywriter when you're still a beginner. I didn't make it some sort of like fancy title. It's just, hey, we're going to do copywriting fundamentals. I'm going to teach you the stuff that works. And we've got 36 people right now live. So do you necessarily always have to have high benefit and high curiosity? Yes, it helps, but more important is to talk to the right person. You have to talk to the person that you actually want to write something for. So that's the most important thing to remember about the hook. The hook is about relevant targeting. It's not about getting attention and shouting at people and being the loudest person in the room. When it comes to copywriting, our job at copywriting is direct response. Direct response is about generating sales from our copy. It's not necessarily like virality marketing. That's not the same. That's getting traffic. You could still see that as a type of copywriting, but fundamentally, like when I think of a hook, I'm thinking about, can we attract the relevant person? Okay. Does that make sense? Yes, I mean, in the chat, I'm going to go slowly because there are a few people here that have actually like very recently broken into copywriting. But if you're not a brand new copywriter, this is stuff that you need to remind yourself of. It's very fundamental, but it's very important. How will it be different for organic short form? So for organic short form, I think it just, again, depends on like what the goal is. Everything is about what is the goal? What is the goal? So your job as a copywriter is to actually always understand what the goal is before you start writing something. We might get into that in day 5. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. But for now, I just want to talk about this, getting through the noise, grabbing attention from the right person, beneficial and curiosity. Now, I can go ahead and create all kinds of rules about how to do hooks. And we're actually going to go into hooks in very in detail in day 2. But what I want you to understand is that the skill is actually called idea copy. That's how I think about it, idea copywriting, right? Because there's something here that we have to keep in mind, is that it's not about the words. It's about the idea behind the words. It's the idea that's interesting. It's not the words that are interesting. The words just represent the idea. So getting attention is about generating interesting ideas. That's fundamentally your job. So your first job as a copywriter is to be able to generate interesting ideas. And this is why AI is not going to be very useful. Because guess what AI can do? AI can take an existing idea and can throw it into some words for you. But fundamentally, there's an interesting idea here. Now, let's go back to the example of this actual training itself. Let's think about the training itself. The training itself is about copywriting fundamentals. That's okay. That's the idea. So the idea is about fundamentals. Why is it important? Because a lot of copywriters spend years trying to make it in this industry, and they've got blindfold on because they don't understand the fundamentals. They can't see the matrix of copywriting. They can't see you guys help me. What is it? It's like, you just can't see what you can't see, right? Like you just don't know it's there yet because you've never been exposed to the fundamentals. And you could potentially learn all that stuff through years and years of working at an agency, and you can internalize all that stuff, but you don't necessarily know that stuff. So that's interesting. Right? That's an interesting idea that we could think about. If I wanted to sell this training, copywriting fundamentals, I say, okay. So the first idea is that I want to show people the matrix of copywriting. Another idea is I want to give people the fundamentals that make their life easier, right? Another thing is I want to make their lives easier with the fundamentals. I want to help them charge more, be more confident, close more clients. Do you see how many things come from just the one idea? Is like, what's interesting about the fundamentals of copywriting? It's like we could take it in many different directions. And that's really what the skill is. The skill is not necessarily about sitting there with the words. The words are irrelevant. That's why I'm using a Google Doc today. I'm trying to just make it, we're going raw. We're just going bare bones. We're not going to complicate things. We're not going to sit with presentations. We're not going to dress anything up. We're just going to sit with the raw skill. The raw skill is you sitting on a Google Doc and having to pull something out of thin air. And it's about ideas. Fundamentally, it's about what's an interesting idea. What is something intellectually stimulating? What is something emotionally interesting? So what we're getting at here is like ideas are what make people do what they do in life, right? Like you're here today because of an idea. You're here today because the idea was you bought into the idea that you want to make money writing words or doing marketing online, helping businesses make money. You were sold by this idea. And this idea carries everything. And you don't necessarily remember the exact words that sold you. And that's my point, is like, what exact words? If I want to sell you copywriting, there's 100 different ways I could say it. So do you want to get paid to sit in your butt and write words every single day? Or do you want to, wouldn't it be cool if you could get paid in a $1 trillion industry that almost nobody knows about, where businesses are willing to pay you $10,000 a month to leverage AI and use your keyboard? It doesn't matter. Like I could say it in a lot of different ways and it sounds interesting. But fundamentally, there's something there. There's substance. There's substance. If you peel back the layers, there's an idea that's interesting. And it goes back to inception. Like I often tell copywriters I spend a lot of time with, like our movie, a lot of these guys in sales, their movie is The Wolf of Wall Street, but the movie for copywriters is like Inception. That's our movie. Because it's like, what's an interesting idea? What's a compelling idea? Like what fundamentally is interesting for somebody that you want to talk to? If you're selling, let's say health, if you're selling supplements, what's interesting to that person? So this is the first skill. The first skill that we're going to learn, and I'm going to talk about in detail tomorrow, is idea copy. Now, when you think of that, it's like there's hooks. Hooks are part of idea copy. Angles are part of idea copy. Niche identifiers are part of idea copy. My BCD formula, which is quite useful. Its benefits, curiosity, drama. We'll talk a little bit about how to use it as well. I'll cover these things in day 2. But fundamentally, it's everything to do with the idea, expanding on the idea, which is the lead. The lead is nothing more than just expanding on the idea. So you put the most interesting part of the idea in the headline, and then you build on it in the lead. And then you build on it even more. And actually, as you're going to see, that the entire piece of copy that you write is actually all just fundamentally one idea with layers and layers. When I think of copywriting, it's like you have a gift that you want to give somebody, the reader. You have a gift. Inside, there's a nugget. There's something of value. Maybe it's a watch or I don't know, whatever you like, right? And to give it to them, you just wrap it. You just have wrapping on top of it until you put like a bow and you tie it up and there's your gift. And so the top of the piece of copy, it starts with all the wrapping. And as you go down the sales ladder, or as you go down anything, or as you watch the video, you're just slowly removing layers. And as you remove all the layers, you finally reach the middle of the copy, which is what we're talking about as body copy. And when you reach the body copy, that's when you start to reveal the thing inside that you've been building up to. The sales argument. Let's think of this as the sales argument. Another way we can think about it is the big belief. The big belief, or some people call it the big idea. Sometimes people talk about the big idea as being part of a lead. I'm going to clarify a lot of these terms for you in the following few days. What else is there? What else do people talk about in the middle? They talk about the mechanism. Right? Yeah, the mechanism is how this thing makes it. Why is this thing different from everything else? The opportunity, the new opportunity. Whatever it is that you're trying to basically present to somebody is in the body copy. And this is what I call conversion copy. Okay? Now, conversion copy is about taking somebody's perspective that they have today, the way that they see things today, and shifting it to the way that you want them to see things in order for them to be ready for the pitch. So for example, do I sell, oh, you should join us for Copywriting Fundamentals. It's great. Nabeel's going to be here and I'm going to be here and we're going to be talking about the secrets to the fundamentals. I don't actually sell like that. If you read any of my emails, like how I sell, I usually first set you up to believe you need the fundamentals before I sell you the fundamentals. I'm not going to say that you should join our training. I'm going to say, look, If you've been struggling for years and you've been wondering what's missing, chances are you need to dial in your fundamentals. There's probably a couple things that you're missing you just can't see, and you keep going around and around in circles because you haven't fixed these fundamentals. But once you fix these fundamentals, then you're going to have the opportunity to improve your skill, charge more, close clients, build a career, have confidence, blah, 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 blah. I don't really sell the training. I just want to sell you on the idea that fundamentals is what you need. And that's your job in most niches. Most of the time, your job is to sell the thing that sells the thing. You should write that down. Most markets, your job is to sell the thing that sells the thing. It's never really about the thing. And most copywriters never get that. Most copywriters don't understand this. So this is why I can work with so many beginners and they will write copy for me and it's just never good. It's like you didn't ever set up the sale. You never prepared me for the pitch. You just went in straight into the pitch. You just assumed that I'm on the same wavelength as you. Remember, if the customer's on the same wavelength as you, then they should buy. Then what do you need copy for? Just send them to the checkout page. The copy's there to help shift the perspective. All right. So that's our job in the second section. And the body copy, it's about shifting perspective. Right. Right now, you don't believe that you need mushroom coffee. So why would I sell mushroom coffee? Oh, today's your last day to get mushroom coffee, 30% off. That's garbage copy. It's not good. However, if I said something like, if you're struggling with bloating, it doesn't matter how much you go to the gym or what you're eating. It has nothing to do with these things. It has everything to do with the coffee you drink. Now we're talking about something maybe a bit more about coffee. And I explain how most coffees got a lot of caffeine, damages your gut because of blah, blah, blah. But mushroom coffee is very different because with mushroom coffee, it has all these mushrooms that have all these healing properties and it's all good for you. And the best part is that we've taken all this and mixed it into one thing. It's called Rise mushroom coffee. It tastes amazing and it heals you from the inside, gets rid of your bloating. And now I say, by the way, it's 30% off, blah, 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 blah. So I build up the sale before I make the sale. I always have one thing. Ask yourself this thing. So we talked about sell the thing that sells the thing. When it comes to conversion copy, it's like, what is the one thing that the prospect needs to believe deep down for them to be ready to buy your offer? What is the belief that they need to have in order to buy their offer? So for copywriting fundamentals, what is the belief I need you to have in order to get 40 people to join this call? I need you to believe that once you fix your fundamentals, you're going to unlock your next level as a copywriter. That's fundamentally the belief I need. I don't need to sell you the 5 days. I don't need to sell you on me. I don't need to sell you on Nabeel. I don't need to sell you on making money. I don't need to sell you on any of those things. All I have to do is say, look, you want to get to the next level. You've been struggling. You've been dealing with a lot of stuff. But the thing that's going to make all the difference is the fundamentals. Once you get those right, you can move on to the next step. That is the next step for you. If I can get you on the same page as me on that, here you are, right? With a show of hands, put yes or something in the chat. Did you come to this training hoping to tighten up your fundamentals, to really refine your skill so that you can go to the next level? Is that part of the reason you're here today? Okay. So that's the point. That's what I'm saying. It's that's why you're here. I didn't really talk about the offer. I just said, I'm here to help you with the fundamentals. And now you're here. You want the fundamentals. You didn't want the offer. You want the fundamentals. If I taught you this in 3 days versus 5 days, I don't think it matters. I think you'd still be here. You don't really care about the offer. They're like, oh, it's 5 days. Oh, it's 3 days. Oh, it's 2 hours. Oh, it's got a Google sheet. Or it's got a PDF or whatever. All that stuff doesn't matter. People don't buy that stuff. You're here because there's an idea that you want. You want to solve your fundamental skills. You want to improve on them. You don't want to have gaps there. That's the most important thing to you as a copywriter. is your fundamentals, because if you don't have your fundamentals right, you're going to struggle, because that's the basics of making money in any industry, is having the fundamentals. So this is why it's, when I see you guys copy, I so often see, oh yeah, this is why I say at the beginning of the call today, features versus benefits. It's, oh yeah, this training is going to teach you this thing and you're going to have this skill. And this thing is going to teach you that thing, and then you're going to have that skill. And this training is going to teach you this thing, so you're going to get that. This whole feature benefit. This is a 1-hour training that's going to teach you the client acquisition system so that you can make money from copywriting. No, that doesn't matter. All the features and benefits and all the promises and all the claims and all the copy stuff that you usually see, that's the third skill. That's called sales copy. Okay. Sales copy is very important, but this is the stuff that AI is usually producing. And it's like, for me, sales copy is not, it's not hard. This is the part of copywriting that's actually quite straightforward to swipe. A lot of this isn't very hard work. A lot of this AI can help you with as well, because it's just an expression of the offer. There's no new work there. But most new copywriters, they just sit here all the time. They just think, oh, okay, so copywriting is about sales language. It's about the words that get people to buy. You're only looking at the words after everybody's been sold. Sales only work, like sales copy only works after people are sold. Think about that. You don't buy stuff if you see sales copy. Last chance today, join now. You don't buy that unless you actually wanted to be a part of that group. And then you see it's a last chance. Oh, I better join because I wanted to. If you see a last chance offer in your inbox, I think you should do this exercise. If you see a last chance offer in your inbox, I guarantee you that most of the time you don't care. The only time you care about the last chance is if you actually wanted it. And now it's like last chance for the thing you wanted. It's, oh no, please. Like, for example, Netflix, right? I don't know who watches Netflix, but let's say you're watching a TV show and it's expiring soon, or it's leaving Netflix soon. You're like, oh no, it's leaving. I better watch it because it's leaving. But shows leave Netflix, like, I think every week or something. I don't really know. I don't really watch much Netflix, but like, shows are always leaving Netflix. You're not in this perpetual state of panic for shows leaving. It's just, that's my show. I wanted to finish watching that. I don't want it to leave yet. Let me finish watching it first. So sales copy is only relevant once you buy into something. And this is actually something I learned from Alan Sultan, which is pretty cool. He says that there's a difference between buying something and paying for something. It's a really good concept for beginners to think about. If you had $1 billion, would you buy your dream home today or this week or something? Yeah or no? Yes or no? Put it in the chat. Remember, you have $1 billion. Okay, somebody doesn't actually want to buy their dream home. Okay, interesting. What are you going to do with the $1 billion? Very curious. Maybe you don't want a dream home. I don't know. Actually, I'm actually curious. For the 2 people that said no, please elaborate in the chat, because it's probably going to help me with my point. Okay, so please explain why. Okay, so if you have $1 billion, you would buy the home. So in other words, what I'm saying is you're already bought in. You don't need convincing to buy your dream home. You already bought it in your heart, in your mind. It's bought. So it's yours. But you don't have the money. So what's the constraint? What's the reason that you don't have your home today? It's not because you don't want it. It's because you don't have the money. Truth is, it's because you don't have the money. If you had $1 billion, I think within a very short time, most people would buy it. So it's about resources. Buying something is about emotion. Paying for something is about resource allocation. Does that make sense? There's a lot of things I want to buy, but I can't pay for them because I don't have the resources for them. And this is where like vision boards and a lot of stuff is about this. It's about, what do you really want? You can actually buy anything you want right now. You don't actually have to pay for it. You can buy it. Emotionally, you bought in. But resource allocation is where sales copy is important. Because the job of sales copy is to make people feel like they actually do have the resources for this. And this is a priority. That's what sales copy is about, right? So that's the difference between the two. So if you want to think of it this way, right? If we were to summarize real quick what we've covered so far, and I'm going to get into sales copy a bit more in a moment, but the fundamental skills, there's 3 skills. The first skill is getting attention with the right person's attention. You have to get the right person to be reading your message, because everything else only works if you're talking to the right person, because you're about to sell them on something that only makes sense if they're the person that you actually want to sell, right? So the attention's here. The convincing them to buy, or not convincing, but increasing their desire to buy is conversion copy. You're converting them. Now they're bought in. And then sales copy is about getting them to pay, actually making the sale, right? It's like closing the deal. Because there's a lot of people that will like stuff. I bet you there's probably 100 people that wanted to join this call today, but for some reason they had constraint. There's a lot of people that wanted to be here today that aren't here because they had a constraint that they were bought in, but they didn't pay. And this is just the way things work. How many times have you bought something and you've bought it, right? You put it in the checkout cart, you're ready to press buy. And then, I don't know, like the address is not working, or some issue with the checkout form, or maybe there's no issue, but you just want to buy something else and you think you will buy it later, or you can't buy it this week because you're traveling or whatever. And you're like, card expires, yeah, or some stupid thing. And then you're like, all right, whatever, I'll just buy it later. How many people have done that? Right. So it's like, this is what happens. It's like you bought it, right? You wanted to pay for it. You literally had your money in your hand, but you still didn't make the purchase. That's what sales copy is for. So from now on, when you see sales copy, you are not convincing anybody to buy anything. You are convincing them. Well, not even convincing. I don't really like the word convincing, but I'm going to use it because it's a bit of a familiar to you maybe as a newer marketer. I don't really believe in convincing. I believe that people want something, you're just kind of helping them to get there. Yeah, it's not nudging though, because it is actually you are pulling them into the sale. They are actually making that. They are taking action because they have to. They feel good sales copy makes you feel like if you don't take action, your life is going to be worse. Like you most of the time leave the sales page. If you don't buy, you feel bad about it. If you don't buy, like with good copy, good copy is like, oh, I really need this. I need this. I can't not buy this. That's what good sales copy makes them feel. And then they're like, all right, let me just see if there's something else here. And then they keep reading and it's like, today only. All right, fine. I don't know. I'll make it work. I'll pay for it. I'll figure it out. And then it's like, they grab the card and boom, done. Right? That's good sales copy. Good sales copy is not like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I really like it. That's a really interesting product. I'll put it in my bookmarks or something. Maybe I'll get it next week. That's not good sales copy. Like that's when the sales copy's failed. But most copywriters, because sales copy is more not word-based, but like there's more tactics with sales copy. I think most of the 80-20 of marketing that you see, most of the time it's talking about sales copy. So most of the time your exposure to copywriting has something to do with features and benefits, or proof, or a close, or here's a CTA, or it's all these techniques about sales copy. And all that stuff's very, very good, but you have to build up an argument first for why somebody should buy into whatever it is that you're selling. That's the most important priority. Then you can go into sales copy, okay? Yeah, Jeremy has it. It's like the desire must already be present in the prospect's mind if you want to convince them. Yeah, it's like they want it anyway. That's your job. Your job is, that's why we go back to like idea needs to target the right person. Targeting the right person means targeting somebody that wants to buy this. Your job as a marketer is not taking some skeptical dude that doesn't want to buy anything and convincing them to buy. Your job is to find somebody who likes buying stuff. Somebody who's ready to buy stuff. Somebody that's constantly looking for a new way to fix his toe fungus or whatever it is that he's buying. That's the job. The job is not necessarily to take somebody that's not interested. A lot of these webinars that people run, they run their economics on 1% conversion rate. It's like, okay, so if the conversion rate's 1%, why is it? It's because the targeting is 1%. They're not going after the 99% that don't buy. The whole piece of copy is for that 1%. That's how it's written. You can check. That's how Jason Capel runs his webinars. He's like, the fundamental secret of what I do is we don't talk to the 99% that aren't going to buy. We just say, how can we make this so good for that 1% that we know is going to buy? And then maybe they manage to boost it, and the 1% versus 2% is $5 million. So it's fine. The conversion rate's fine. I feel like desire can be engineered. I think desire is already there, and you connecting the dots in a certain way brings the desire to your product. That's how I think about it. So all of this stuff's already there. That's what copy is. Copy is just a mirror. Good copy is just a mirror of the prospect's life and directing them to use their energy differently to the way they were previously. And we're going to get into some examples, but I want you to understand that this conversion copy is. What else do we have in the body copy? Body copy, when we're making the sale, we're shifting belief, shifting perspective, giving them proof, making them confident in the offer, progressing the awareness levels. Social proof is also pretty good depending on who you're selling to. All right, good. So I think we've got a pretty good idea of that. Now let's talk about sales copy a little bit more, right? So sales copy is going to have the close. It's going to have urgency. It's going to have scarcity. Just make sure you guys can see my screen this time, yeah? Just making sure that my computer's not weird. Edutainment comes in body copy. Yes, but edutainment's not really a function of copywriting. It's more of I think it's just part of the philosophy of keeping people interested. It's not like a section, I don't think. I wouldn't really say edutainment is any particular part of the you don't just start entertaining people like, oh, I got their attention, now it's time to entertain them. It's like, no, the whole thing should be entertaining. There's only really three things. There's the idea that pulls them in. It's actually technically like wrapping up the idea, making it interesting. Once you open the idea and you reveal it to everybody, it's the belief that they need. You're shifting the core belief. And now they're ready to buy. They're like, oh yeah, I want to buy. Cool. Now we make the sale. Oh, wow. I didn't expect a transition. I didn't expect it to be so cheap. All right. Urgency, scarcity, risk reversal, negative, damaging admissions. Basically everything in sales copy is about increasing their feeling of reducing risk and increasing optionality, making them feel like acting now is actually the best decision. That's really what it is. It's not that they should act now. It's that acting now is the best decision. Like, why wouldn't you act right now? Like Alan actually is another great example of this. It's like what he was saying to me. It's like, if you have a course, I don't remember where he said this, maybe it wasn't on my interview, but if you have a course that is $1,000, you might get a couple people buy the course for $1,000. But if you have a course that's $200, you can sometimes leverage the fact that people can now, they don't have to choose between your course and stuff. Like, actually, let's use a better example. Copywriting Launchpad is a great example of good sales copy. The offer itself, because you can be in other groups and you can still join Copywriting Launchpad. You don't have to choose. You can have both. It's basically free. It's $5 a month. The next level, the premium tier, where we're going to be doing day 2, 3, and 4, and 5, is $50 a month. It's cancel Netflix, cancel, I don't know, order 2 dozen coffees, done. So the option, you can have both, is right there. Now, if it was like $1,000 a month, now it would start being difficult for you to decide, maybe, because you might still want it. You might still be bought in. It's like, I want to know what's in day 2, 3, 4, and 5. I really do want to learn how to write fundamentals. However, I'm unfortunately unable to find $1,000 for this. I just can't. There's an example of buying versus paying. It's like, I think everybody on the call today wants to know what I'm talking about. Hopefully I did a decent job at explaining so far what the fundamentals are that we're going to be exploring in these 3 days. I'm going to give you some more stuff today as well. So I'm not finished yet. I'm just using this as an example, but it's like, everybody wants this, right? But it becomes a question of, is it accessible? Can you have it? It's about resource allocation. How do you get the resources? So let's do a little exercise. Let me do a little exercise with you and show you how sales copy works real time. Okay. Let me pull up my email. I think I wrote this email yesterday. And does anybody have any questions so far? Just make sure you put them in the chat as well, because I will get to some questions in today's call. And then at the end of the call, we can also open it up to voice as well. Happy to potentially answer questions out loud as well. Okay. So here's an email that I wrote to promote today. Let's talk about this real quick. This is sales copy because it's the last day. So everybody was hopefully already bought in. Today's the last chance. Urgency for you to hop into Copywriting Launchpad before I go live. Why is it live? Scarcity, because it's live. It's not recorded. The topic, show you the 3 fundamental skills. We just finished that. Mental models. Going to talk about that in a little bit. And exercises. You can talk about that in a little bit. You need to use to succeed as a copywriter. Using Bruce Lee, this is a piece of conversion copy to remind you, for anybody that wasn't sold yet, let's go back to the fundamentals real quick. Here's a quick way to show you how important fundamentals are. Bruce Lee says it too. I fear not the man who practiced 10,000. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times. Copywriting is the exact same. You can learn secret after secret, opportunity after opportunity. But until you master the fundamentals, you add 0 value to the market, and consequently, you won't be able to make the money you want to make. There's proof of conversion copy right there. Do you guys see that? How I'm not selling you any course. I'm not selling you to be here today. I'm selling you on the idea that you need the fundamentals. That is what's most of the time missing from 90% of beginner copy, is you don't do this. Look how bad this would be if I just removed this. Look how bad this would be. Let me read this to you. No context. Today's the last chance for you to hop into Copy the Launchpad before I go live tomorrow. Topic of the call, show you the 3 fundamental skills, mental models, and exercises you need to succeed as a copywriter. You can Google Copywriting Fundamentals if you like and try to scrap it all together yourself, but my bet is you probably already tried that, so why not just let me show you for 1 hour live? And if you missed the live call, it's okay, I'll publish the replay. It's okay, right? I don't know. I'm not really particularly... I'm not sold. Do I really need this? It's just another call. But this sells it. All right. Copywriting is the same. You can learn secret after secret. You can hear about opportunity after opportunity. Until you can master the fundamentals, you add 0 value to the market. So what are you going to do? Right? It's like, that's the conversion. So there's the conversion piece, right? And now this is sales copy because this is a sales email. So you might be wondering, where's the idea? In this case, it's because it's an email, I'm not really actually doing much. There's no idea copy really here, to be honest. There's a little bit, like you could argue that this is a type of idea, but it's not really. It's actually just sales copy. Okay. Well, this is the same thing. This is just sales copy. What was the subject line? The subject line was last chance to tighten your fundamentals. There. So it's okay. So that's why I'm saying what we're doing in today's call is I'm showing you that there's like pieces that you're not always going to be doing all 3 of these. Most copywriters that write emails, they just spend most of their time on conversion and sales. Most of the time it's just here. Really good email copywriters can include the idea too, for sure. Because if you have all 3 all the way down, it works well. With promotional emails, maybe it's not always necessary because you also expect that people have read at least one or two other emails in the promotion. But still, you don't always want to rely on that. But that's what I'm saying, is that there's these three different levels. And once you understand these three levels, you're going to be more than capable. So I'll give you another example. Let's talk sales copy, right? So sales copy. Now so here, I'll do the transition. I'm going to just do this live. Pretend I'm going to sell you on the next 4 days. I'm going to just demonstrate it to you, right? So now I've just showed you these three, right? And I want to show you more. I want to show you how to go into each one of these and master each of these fundamentals. Because guess what? If you can write idea copy, you can write ads. You can write hooks and subject lines. You can write organic copy that goes viral. You could produce the first 5 minutes of a VSL. You can write leads with confidence. You can test stuff and know what you're doing, right? You can write conversion copy. You can write powerful email copy that gets tens of thousands of sales, sometimes just from one email. You can also use conversion copy to sell yourself to clients and close higher paying clients. When you understand how to use conversion copy, you're also going to be able to produce end-to-end webinars, which some people are charging, not webinars, VSLs, which some people are charging up to $5,000 for a VSL. But if you want, you can also use this to take your ad copywriting game to the next level and charge $5,000 to $10,000 a month as a creative strategist. But that's not all. Once you have sales copy, you can tie all of that together. Once you have sales copy, you can close any piece of copy. So any gap that you have, any gap that your client has, it's very easy to spot because you have sales copy and you've taken it to that top 1% level. So that's the transition, right? And I really want to show you all of that in the next 4 days. I really want to give you all of this and empower you. And it's not that hard. And it only is going to take us a couple hours together and a few exercises. So will I see you there? There's the pitch. Will I see you there? First name, if I was writing it as an email. Will I see you over the next 4 days? Cool. Here's how you can join us. Today only, we're running a special where you can join us for, and then I go into my pitch, right? Let's say it's like $1,000. Now, usually these secrets are worth $10,000, but today, because I want to help more people, blah, 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 it's only going to be $50. Okay. But I'm not going to be doing this ever again. There's urgency. All right. This is the only time that you can ever get access to this. And there's only a limited amount of seats. And I'm so convinced that this is going to absolutely change your skills as a copywriter, that if you use this stuff and you don't feel better the day after you watch the recording, if you don't find yourself significantly better after the training, feel free to just request a refund or something. I'm absolutely confident that this is going to be more than worth your money, something like this, right? And then damaging admission. Now, I'll be honest. I don't have fancy slides. I don't have dozens of cheat sheets for you. I don't have AI prompts for you. This is just raw stuff. This is just the fundamentals here. I'm just going to show you what actually works and how you can use it. Boom. So there's a demonstration of those techniques, raw demonstration, right? So that's what sales copy is about. But you first have to be sold on what we're going to be talking about, right? You first have to be sold on the fact that we're going to be covering these things, which is why I spent most of the call today showing you the three models. So you see how there's a little bit of an inception going on here. So just showing you on a Google Doc. It's like the conversion copy is me showing you that there's idea copy, conversion copy, and sales copy. And then we're going to cover it in the next few days. So I want to hopefully see you again tomorrow. All right. And it's then I'm now showing you that you're going to take action. Okay. So there's my first little thing I wanted to teach you guys today. Those are the three fundamentals, and each of them is different. So idea copy requires you to come up with something that's interesting, something that's attention grabbing. It's attention copy. Get attention. Conversion copy is a little more strategic. You got to think about, what are we really doing here? What's the psychographic profile? What do they believe right now? What's the market? This is true marketing. If I want to think of idea copy, I think of idea copy as a bit more like advertising. This is like for traditional advertising. Conversion copy is like education, and it's like marketing. It's like educating the prospect, shifting their perspective, changing their changing the relationship with you as a brand. That's the job of conversion copy, is changing the way that they see something, reshifting the perspective, right? And sales copy is about reducing risk, increasing, basically prompting action, I guess you could say, is like prompting action. Prompting action is all about, hey, there's not that, you can have both. And if you join this and it doesn't work out, you can get all your money back. And it's not a lot of time it's going to cost you. And if anything, all these other people have already got these results. So this is actually the easiest thing that you'll ever have to do, whatever. And like basically handle all that skepticism. Once you fundamentally get these 3 things right, like you actually are good at these things, you will make 10 grand a month. Honestly, this is the one time I feel very confident to say that. If you can do these 3 things very well, you will make 10K. Because writing words is not that difficult. You have AI. Most projects aren't that difficult, as you're about to see. I'm going to show you now how I would do it. The rest of this game is not hard. It's just understanding and mastering these fundamental skills, these 3 things. And we could make it a nice little pretty diagram, but I think you get the idea. Okay, so now we're going to break down high-performing copy. Maybe before we do, let me grab some water. I'll grab some water. But in the meantime, I want you guys to drop some questions in the chat, either with takeaways or either with some follow-up questions.
So that's the first half of day 1 of Copywriting Fundamentals, where Matthew went through the 3 fundamental types of copy that you need to understand in order to write any piece of copy. On days 2, 3, and 4 of the Copywriting Fundamentals Workshop, we're going to go much deeper into each of these 3 fundamental types of copy. And we are going to go through many more examples so you can understand how to write the 3 different types of copy and be able to apply it in any copywriting job. And on the last day of the Copywriting Fundamentals Workshop, day 5, Matthew is going to tie it all together and give you a way to practice these fundamentals of copywriting so they become muscle memory to you. And so whenever you take on any kind of copywriting project, you will be able to see the essence of that copywriting project and be able to complete it in a much better and more persuasive way. So if you'd like to join us live for days 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the Copywriting Fundamentals Workshop, and you would like access to the recordings of the entire workshop, all you have to do is join us in Copywriting Launchpad, which is our school community for copywriters, and subscribe to a premium plan, which is $50 a month. The link is in the description.